Vida on the set. Good morning, Chelsea. How are you?
Good morning. I'm
Always
doing
good
well.
to see you. You're like a ray of sunshine here on the set. Now, Chelsea, let's start with your history. How did you get into the business? And tell me about Tula Vida.
So, Tula Vida means balanced life. Tula is Sanskrit for balance, and Sanskrit is the language of yoga. It's kind of representative of the really grounding, focused energy that I bring in from my practice that I gained in my training in India. And then Vida is life in Spanish, and that's more representative of the year or so that I spent in Latin America that gave me this kind of vibrance of you know what, this is how I want to live my life, and gave me that enthusiasm to go out and do what it is that I felt like I really wanted to do.
Now, because you must get at that. You're so young, you own your own business, you're doing great things. How did you sort of get on the path of not doing the typical, you know what I mean? Because you kind of done this whole alternate type, travel and...
It was a slow process. It really started with the traveling and getting out there and seeing how content you can live however you choose, whether that's in an office or living a little bit more simply and doing what it is that you want. And it started out with the yoga and the health coaching and just having this really strong desire to work with people. It was like I had this realization of when you do what you want, life works.
Right.
And I wanted to kind of share that and branch that out with those that I worked with. And
so you started with yoga. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I think that's where my inspiration came from. But I started with, first came the health coaching, which I love. I love working with people on a mental, spiritual, emotional, and physical level.
See, there's a lot of pieces in there.
There's a lot. Because that was another thing. It was like, well, you can't just be healthy if you exercise and eat right. There's still so much lacking in the health industry because they're not pulling in that mental, emotional, and spiritual piece, that sense of knowing who you are and trusting that instinct. And then I branched out into the yoga from there, feeling like that was able to, again, just incorporate that level of connection with yourself on a physical level, but also checking in and seeing how you feel and building your instincts based upon your practice.
So what kind of client do you have coming in typically, and who do you say benefits most from sort of this health coaching type? It's
people who are really open and they've kind of hit a point in their life, just like I did, where they recognize that there's a lot more going on than what they see. You're not just going to be happy from, making X amount of money or living this healthy routine or whatever else it is. They recognize that they want to actually get their life into a space where every single part of their life works.
Because I think it takes a certain amount of courage to actually look at yourself and say, this isn't working.
Yeah.
And I'm not happy and everything isn't great. And so that's you're a resource that they can go to sort of take that next step and start connecting those, because you might have reveal something that you didn't even know was affecting you so negatively. And that becomes exposed.
You just become, the goal is to get you thinking more and more and more about how does this make me feel, physically, mentally, and emotionally. How does this make me feel? Does it work? And basing those answers on that. My intention in many ways working with people is to get people to a point where they don't have to keep asking other people, doctors, professionals, anyone else, what works. It's more like checking in and saying, I don't feel good today. And why is that? And what do I need to get there?
Now, how does this tie into the soul realignment? Because we were starting to talk about it, and a lot of people have never heard of it. So how would you describe it?
The soul realignment piece was the final piece that I added, and in so many ways it's become the foundation, because where the health coaching branches out on the different lifestyles, the different diets, all these wonderful things to incorporate, and the yoga is the yoga practice. The soul realignment is the foundation. It's a reading that I do for people, and it's a 21-day process that helps people get more and more aware of who they are at soul level, the person that they truly, truly are, because unfortunately so many of us day in, day out, we slowly start making decisions to become this person who we think we should be, who we think will make us happy, make our families happy.
Right.
And the reading that I do gets people back into that place where it's like, no, this is who you are. And you know that. I'm just pointing out the obvious. And we're getting you back into that place so that you can start living more authentically and finding a sense of empowerment in that, like, you know what, this is who I am, so I'm going to do this because of that. And it doesn't mean that you go off doing these crazy endeavors, but at the very least, it could be, but it could also be that you find more acceptance for your life, and you find more, you start doing things that are so much more fulfilling, and they support a more fulfilling life.
Do you find that you're battling against sometimes societal or cultural, you know, like just like you don't know you have these pressures on you, but
that's the whole point, is that soul realignment, people are always like, well, are you telling me that I'm not connected with my soul? It's like, it's not really that. It's more the fact that we don't even realize how much we're influenced by, you know, our families and society and money and everything else. And it's not to say that that's wrong, it's just to say that some people are ready to get into that spot again where it's like you're doing what you want to do, and that makes you money, and that brings about a loving relationship, and that just makes you a happier person. Like trusting that every day, if you're doing things to support who you are, everything else will work out.
Okay, and where can they find more information? You say it's a 21-day process.
Yeah.
So it's not, you're not going to go in for 20 minutes to be done.
It's
this
definitely,
is a process.
it's a commitment. It's for people who are ready to really, shift their life into a different place. It's not this traumatic change either, which is cool. It's not like, you wake up and poof, everything's different and your marriage ends and everything else. It's more like everything starts to click back into place. Like things are working for the right reasons, and you become more prepared to let go of things that you've been wanting to let go of, but you haven't quite gotten there yet. So it's definitely for those who are somewhat committed to the process. So you can find more. There's a video on my website and some information on my website, tulavidahealth.com.
tulavidahealth.com. And on there, I imagine there's the full contact information as well.
Yes.
So they can get in contact with you. Yoga, you're doing it mostly at Be Well Studios, so they can find you there. Sunday mornings, I've taken your class. Phenomenal, love it. And also, any other events that you wanted to mention that are coming up on the calendar for you?
Not right now. The fall's going to be busy.
That's right.
The fall's, I do the free yoga at Settlers Green on Thursdays at 6. I also do free yoga at the community center on Sundays at noon. So,
oh wow, you're so busy.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, always a pleasure to see you,
Always
Chelsea.
great to
and
be
good
here.
luck